Hi, this is Mark Laughlin with RaggedyEdge.net. Done a little upgrade to my old Tomac Cortez mountain bike, old 26er. Last year, of course, I did the transition from a 3x9 to a 1x11, and that's been awesome. And I was running a SHIMANO cassette on the rear, and you can check out the video and get the details on what cassette I was running. Now that cassette, a year later, has shown a little bit more wear than I thought I would expect, so I decided to replace it. And besides, I was also thinking I wanted to go with a little bit wider ratio and go with a 46 tooth on the rear. I was tempted to go 50, but I'm not sure if my medium size derailleur can handle it. But anyway, so I went with the 11x46 box. And it looks really nice. What I like is it looks like all the gears or the cogs on the cassette looks like steel. There is an aluminum part in behind it, which helps shed some weight. But I think the problem maybe with the Shimano is maybe it had aluminum cogs and they were wearing a little bit fast. Now I think that was largely due to the angle from the chainring, my narrow wide chainring on the front to the back. There was kind of a steep angle on the lower gear, and what I'm really trying to do is get it to where, because I was really happy with the low gear, the 42 tooth sprocket on the Shimano on the rear for my absolute low. And so I'm really looking to make this almost into almost a 9 or a 10 speed bike. I hopefully will not very often use this really low 46 tooth cog back there. Because basically when I do, when I shift, I usually don't shift one gear. I'm usually, especially if I'm gearing down and in tight terrain, I'm usually skipping 2, sometimes 3. So what I wanted was a little bit wider spacing, and maybe only be doing a 2-gear shift when I'm shifting. So anyway, we'll go test her out. So far it does well. Seems really smooth. I didn't have to make any adjustments except for this one screw here to get it to extend out a little further to clear the cog when it's up in that up above that 46 tooth. So some adjustment there to get that out a little more. And other than that, everything lined up perfectly the same. The gears are all shifting perfectly from the 46 all the way down to 11, and that's with my the Shimano shifters still on there. So real happy about that. A lot easy to install. Another thing I noted was the nut that came with the box cassette. It actually seems to fit my tool a lot better than the Shimano. For some reason on my Shimano ones, I always had to kind of take a mallet and really tap that tool and kind of jam it in there. It just didn't seem to fit quite right. But this one fits really nice and slips right in there and in and out really easy. So I'm real happy about that too. So anyway, next is to go take her out, do a pretty simple little ride today at Reed Bingham Park in Georgia. Alright, here we are at Reed Bingham Park in Georgia. Pretty like newbie trails, but there is couple of rooty sections where I could do some really steep climbs, and just for the gigs and griggles, throw it up onto the 46 tooth chain ring or cassette cog there, and works fine. Just really a low gear. You have to be a really steep and steep trail with a lot of traction to make use of it. I did notice that probably because my bike has a short wheelbase, it's a 26er, and short chain stays. It's a pretty steep angle for the chain, both to the low gear and the absolute top gear. So it's almost like if you had a three chain ring on the front, and you were doing a complete cross from one chain ring all the way to the other side on the cassette. So it's a pretty steep angle. But my hope is to kind of keep it pretty much using it between the 10th and say the 2nd gear. Keep it pretty much between those for the most part. And I've got a 34 tooth chain ring, which I did replace the chain as part of the whole drivetrain, just to make sure it didn't prematurely wear anything. And going really good so far. One thing I don't like is the SRAM chains come with this really greasy oil, which I tried to clean off and then put my dry lube on, but it's still got a lot of grease on it. and so it's really attracting a lot of sand and stuff. So hopefully another scrubbing with maybe Dawn or something, I can get that grease off of there and get a good coating of dry chain lube, so I don't attract all this gunk that's sticking all to the cassette too. But as you can see, I'm on a boardwalk here at Reed Bingham, so that's the extent of our wooden features here is pretty much stuff like that. So as you can guess, it's a pretty easy trail to ride. For anyone that comes out here, you do want to watch for pedestrians and definitely get your speed down when if you come across some, because a lot of retirees camping here, so they move pretty slow looking here at the birds and the wildlife and stuff. So go fast and then back it way down when you see pedestrians. Alright, this is in kind of the middle of the only section that's of any consequence here at Reed Bingham State Park. It's got some kind of stair-step rooty things. Pretty easy going down. A little bit of a challenge climbing. I did try my 46 cog going up it just to try it, but really this is climbable in 4th or 5th gear, so not very steep, just a little bit rooty. There are some sections out here at the park that have these roots that are really sharp. They're like a 2x6 or even a 2x8 laid on end. So they especially for a 26er, can bring you to a kind of a sudden halt if you don't get your front wheel over them and then bunny hop the back wheel over. So those sections are a little bit challenging, but the rest of it's pretty much this sandy soil that's well packed and pretty easy and good to ride on. It's Mark Laughlin with RaggedEdge.net. Please like, share, and subscribe.